Wednesday of the second week of Lent.
A reading from the book of the prophet Jeremiah. The people of Judah and the citizens of Jerusalem said, "Come, let us contrive a plot against Jeremiah. It will not mean the loss of instruction from the priests, nor of the counsel from the wise, nor of messages from the prophets. And so let us destroy him by his own tongue. Let us carefully note his every word. Heed me, O Lord, and listen to what my adversaries say. Must good be repaid with evil, that they should dig a pit to take my life? Remember that I stood before you to speak in their behalf, to turn away your wrath from them." The word of the Lord.
The response is, "Save me, O Lord, in your kindness. You will free me from the snare they set for me, for you are my refuge. Into your hands I commend my spirit. You will redeem me, O Lord, O faithful God. Save me, O Lord, in your kindness. I hear the whispers of the crowd that frighten me from every side, as they consult together against me, plotting to take my life. Save me, O Lord, in your kindness. But my trust is in you, O Lord. I say, you are my God. In your hands is my destiny. Rescue me from the clutches of my enemies and my persecutors. Save me, O Lord, in your kindness."
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. As Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside by themselves and said to them on the way, "Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priest and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death, and hand him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and scourged and crucified, and he will be raised on the third day." Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee approached Jesus with her sons and did him homage, wishing to ask him for something. He said to her, "What do you wish?" She answered him, "Command that these 2 sons of mine sit, one at your right and the other at your left, in your kingdom." Jesus said in reply, "You do not know what you are asking. Can you drink the chalice that I am going to drink?" They said to him, "We can." He replied, "My chalice you will indeed drink, but to sit at my right and at my left, this is not mine to give, but it is for those for whom it has been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard this, they became indignant at the 2 brothers. But Jesus summoned them and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and the great ones make their authority over them felt. But it shall not be so among you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you shall be your servant. Whoever wishes to be first among you shall be your slave. Just so, the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." The Gospel of the Lord.
The first reading comes from Jeremiah 18 to 20. In the first part of this reading, we hear the plot against Jeremiah. Jeremiah has been proclaiming the word of God, which includes the condemnation of the people of Judah for their sinfulness. The people of Judah are suffering from various invasions, from various difficulties, and instead of looking at themselves, as we heard Daniel do a couple days ago, and confess their sinfulness, rather they turn and blame Jeremiah. He's the one predicting these things. He must be the one at fault. And so what does Jeremiah say? He calls upon God in one of his confessions. Now the confessions of Jeremiah are autobiographical passages in which he struggles with God. He has done what God told him to do, and he's suffering for it, and that doesn't seem fair. So he challenges God. He says, "I stood before you to speak in their behalf, to turn away your wrath from them. Now they want to kill me. This is not fair. This is a reminder that when we try to do what's right, it's not always that it turns out well. In fact, we have the saying, no good deed goes unpunished. That often when we try to do what's right, we'll suffer for the goodness that we try to choose. And that's not a sign that we did the wrong thing, but rather it's a sign that we have to purify our intentions. We have to go to a more profound level in the reasons why we do things. We forgive others not because they deserve it, but rather because they need it. The Gospel is from Matthew 20, 17 to 28. Jesus predicts his passion, and what's the response of the disciples? The mother of James and John come up and ask that when he dies, her sons can sit on his right and left. Jesus is talking about his suffering and death. All she's concerned about is the honors given to her sons. Now, this is the Gospel of Matthew, which softens the message a bit. In the older form, in the Gospel of Mark, it's James and John themselves who ask for this favor. What does Jesus say? Can you drink of the chalice of which I'm to drink? The chalice representing the suffering that he's going to undergo, something that we might remember when we're going up to receive communion. That when we receive that Eucharist, we're also receiving the suffering and death that Jesus suffered and that we're asked to suffer. Remember, we're asked to take up our crosses and follow Jesus. And furthermore, Jesus says, those who are in charge shouldn't be like the leaders of the Gentiles who lord it over their subjects. Jesus has come to serve the many. That is the role of the Christian. The Christian should not think about how much money he can make if he's a good Christian, the gospel of wealth, but rather how much love he can expend because he wants to be just like Jesus. And may God bless us.